Alright, hey guys, my name is Shadow, and welcome back to some more Elite Dangerous. So, today we are taking a look at an awesome Anaconda build. This will be not a budget Anaconda build. This will be probably a fairly expensive Anaconda build, and it will also require a bit of time investment, so just be aware of that before we go any further, because this build is going to be heavily engineered, and it also relies on having, you know, the best A-rated components and stuff like that for your ship. So I guess I'll just start talking about it. Let's take a look at the core internal components first. So as I was just saying, we have all the best stuff on here, and it's all pretty heavily engineered. So if you don't have a lot of engineers unlocked, you probably want to spend some time doing that, because it's really worth it. And the thing is, you only have to do it once, and then you have them. And it's really easy to get to grade 5. If you guys want to, also, if you guys want to see another video about how to easily get to grade 5 with any given engineer, let me know that down in the comments, because I would be happy to make that video. A lot of people tell me they don't have access to certain engineers, and they don't have, you know, the grades to, or the grade to get, you know, the good upgrades. So yeah, if you guys want to see that video, let me know down in the comments. Anyways, let's get back to talking about this build. So first off, we have the military grade composite. Now again, this is a bounty hunting build. I'm probably going to put that in the title somewhere, so it's probably going to say for PvE or not for PvP or something like that. If I didn't put that in the title, just assume that that's in the title. Bounty hunting build, right? This is PvE, solo or co-op, not really PvP, although I did get into a PvP battle with this inadvertently one time and I won. So I guess it's okay for that. Anyways, military grade composite. Now the upgrade here is heavy duty armor grade 5. So this gets our hull 345% boost, bam, and it adds a little bit of resistance. It takes down our kinetic resistance a little bit, but meh, it's okay. It's pretty good, it works out. So then we have the 8A power plant. Now this is probably the most expensive component of the ship. The military grade composite hull is also really expensive. It's about as expensive as the Anaconda. However, the 8A power plant is more expensive than the ship. This is about, I want to say 150 million credits. Anyways, the upgrade here is grade 5 overcharged power plant. This comes from Heratani, and oh, I didn't mention this, but the upgrade for the military grade composite comes from an engineer called Celine Jean, who's really annoying to unlock. The good thing is you only have to do it once, and it's really easy to reach grade 5 once that engineer is unlocked. Anyways, Heratani is a little bit trickier to unlock because it involves unlocking another engineer first. And then once you have Heratani unlocked, there's another engineer you can unlock after that, Brew Tarquin, who we'll talk about in a moment. But anyways, we have grade 5 overcharged power plant here, and that's giving us a total of 49.79 megawatts worth of reactor output, and we're coming a little close to that. We're coming in at 49.08 with all our hard points deployed, so we don't actually have to shut anything off. But the downside of this is that it increases the mass of the reactor slightly, not significantly. It's like less than 2 tons of increase, but it's still an increase, and it decreases the integrity. So if you did want to use, you know, an Anaconda for PvP, then you probably wouldn't want to use overcharged power plant, just because, I mean, the regular unmodified integrity is 165, and then with this grade 5 overcharged anyways, it's down to 88, so it's a 46.5% reduction in integrity. Also, the heat efficiency sucks, so there's that, but it's fine, really. I mean, it's a big ship, and yeah, with the modifications that we have, you know, with the rest of the ship, and my phone just went off. That was neat. With the modifications that we have for the rest of the ship, it's not that bad. The heat output is really, it's higher than normal, but it's negligible. We'll take a look at that in part 2 of this video. If I didn't mention that in the beginning, I don't remember if I did, but if I didn't mention in the beginning, this is going to be part 1 where we just talk about the build, and then we'll do part 2 where we go test it out. You guys know the drill. We do this all the time. So anyways, up next we have the 7A thrusters. Now these are somewhat expensive. They're not by any means the most expensive. They're not anywhere near as expensive as the 8A power plant, but they're pretty good. So we have the 7A thrusters, And the modification that we have here is grade 5 dirty drive tuning. Now what this will do is it'll make your ship go faster and be more maneuverable. And you can see we have like all the heaviest components that we can possibly put on this ship. Well, not the heaviest. I mean, B is actually the heaviest. But in terms of having like military and combat things on this ship, we have some pretty heavy components on here. And our top speed is actually 250 meters per second, which is awesome for an Anaconda. It's usually not anywhere that fast. So it's 250 meters per second. Turning is not its strong suit, but it's pretty good. It's a pretty good turner with grade 5 dirty drive tuning. So yeah, that's what we have. Now we get grade 5 dirty drive tuning from Professor Palin, and he's kind of annoying to unlock. It involves flying 5,000 light years away. So if you're not an explorer and you haven't flown 5,000 light years, set aside a day, cue something good up on Netflix, and just go unlock Professor Palin. It's really worth it. Now, if you don't have access to grade 5 dirty drive tuning, you can get grade 3 dirty drive tuning from Felicity Farseer, which is all right. It's not anywhere near as good as grade 5. I highly recommend just unlocking Professor Palin to get the grade 5. But if you can't, I mean, you can make do with grade 3. You can probably make do with grade 3. Anyways, so next we have our 6A frameshift drive. Now, again, I always say this in every bounty hunting video, but frameshift drives are not essential to your bounty hunting build. This is just helping to get us around quickly. So on here we have the grade 5 increased FSD range, and this is probably one of the easier upgrades to get. You can get this from both Felicity Farseer and Elvira Martuk, and those are just common engineers that everybody with Horizons should have access to. Felicity Farseer only requires that you've flown somewhere, I think it's 300, but if it's not, it's somewhere between 300 and 400 light years away from your starting location. So 3 to 400 light years away from LHS 3447, and then you get Felicity Farseer, and you can rank up with her by giving her exploration data. But you know, there's also other ways to rank up with engineers. Anyways, grade 5 increased FSD range. Now, with all the heavy stuff we have on here, we're still getting 22.94 light years worth of jump range. And if you put lighter components on here, it's going to make that go up. So if jump range is something you care about, that's a good thing to have. So next we have the 5D life support. Now, D is the lightest weight class you can get, which is why I put this in. And notice we also have an upgrade on here. So what upgrade do we have on here? Well, I just did this for fun because I could. Since they took out the commodities requirements, this was kind of easy to get. The lightweight life support system, grade 4. So this reduces the mass to 2.56 tons, and that's down from 8 tons. That really doesn't make a lot of difference in this particular Anaconda build. I just put this on here more because I could than because it was useful. So if you don't have access to Laurie Jameson, which is where this particular lightweight mod comes from, don't worry about it. It's not crucial to the build in any way. I just did it because I was there and it was available. And this is actually the highest grade that is available for this particular lightweight modification. There is no grade 5 of this, so if you don't have access to Laurie Jameson, you can't get to, Shinra de Desra, you don't have the Founders World permit, which is where Laurie Jameson is, don't worry about it. It's fine. You don't need this. It's just on there because I could, basically. Anyways, next we have the 8A power distributor. Now, this is one of the more important things you're going to need. So, your 8A power distributor, you definitely want the 8A, even if it's not upgraded. But you are going to want to upgrade it. So here's the upgrade that we have. We have the grade 5 charge enhanced power distributor. Yes, grade 5, because with the release of 2.2.03, we have exquisite focus crystals again, and they are available. I think I said this in the video where we were talking about the Python upgrades, but yeah, exquisite focus crystals are now available for collection, and get a lot of them because, oh my gosh, it took me a long time to get anywhere near a decent roll. 35% is actually the maximum. No, I'm wrong. I think it's 36%. It's either 35 or 36% is the maximum for increase in capacity or in recharge rate for the grade 5. So it took me a few rolls to get this, and exquisite focus crystals, while they're available, you're going to have to work for them. So yeah, just make sure it's really what you want to do. Really what you want to do. But I thought I'd settle for this. I've heard of other people getting some secondary effects where their recharge rates will go up to like 45%, and that kind of blows my mind because of the amount of time and focus crystals it took me to get this. So, yeah, if you get that, take it immediately. If you get over 35%, take that roll immediately. If you get 34%, take that roll immediately, because your next few rolls are just going to be garbage. Well, in my experience, anyway. I mean, your results may vary. Okay, anyways, enough about that. So next we have the 8D sensors. I've been hearing that sensors are now connected to your gimbaled weapons, but I could have sworn that the patch notes and even, you know, the Frontier Development Team themselves mentioned that they were not connecting gimbaled weapons to sensors. So if they did that and I'm not aware of it, please let me know down in the comments. But as far as I know, they didn't. So that's what I'm going with. But if they did and I don't know about it, then I don't know about it. So if you guys know about that, please enlighten me. But for the meantime, because I don't know about that, we have 8D sensors in this build, but we don't really have too many we have some I can't talk today. We have some gimbaled weapons, but mostly we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, 8D sensors, and there are currently no upgrades available for sensors. Then we have, you know, a standard fuel tank, comes with the ship. Then, something cool, the Anaconda got a military slot. Yes, that's so cool. Now, in the beta, there were two military slots on this ship, and they took one off when it actually released. I don't know why they did that. I like the two. I was good with that. It put my hull at over 3,000, but yeah, it's over 3,000. No, okay, that was lame. Anyway, so the mod on this is the same as on the military grade hull. We have the heavy duty hull reinforcement grade 5 that also comes from Celine Jean, and with both of those heavy duty upgrades, our hull is at 2,993.5. Just give me 3,000. Damn. But look at all the cool stuff this does. All our resistances are up by 11.9%. So that's pretty cool. And the hull reinforcement goes from 390 to 653, so a 67.3% increase. I really like that. It's really worth doing Celine Jean just to get that stuff. Okay, so that's all for the core internals. Let's take a look at the optional internals. So let's scroll all the way up. So, of course, we have the 7A shield generator. That's the biggest shield generator that we can put in the Anaconda is the 7A. So, what upgrade do we have on that? What could it be but reinforced shield grade 4? Yeah, I don't have grade 5 on this for two reasons. The first reason being, I don't have any improvised components. My god, I spent so long looking for improvised components. So I believe there are two ways you can get those. They can either be mission rewards, or they can, you know, drop from a high grade signal source only. And I looked in a lot of them, and I didn't find them. You know, I was probably looking in the wrong place, but whatever. So what I did was I rolled on grade 4 until I got this, a 32.7% increase in optimal strength. Now, on a grade 5 reinforced shield upgrade roll, the maximum that you should be able to get is 29%. So, my reinforced shield roll grade 4 came out to 32.7% because of a secondary effect that bumped it up quite a lot. The maximum for grade 4 is 25%, so that bumped it up a lot. So it's actually stronger than just a regular maximum grade 5 roll. So I decided I would take that because it's pretty good. Now we have shield boosters on this ship, but with this shield roll, we're sitting at over 3,000 shields, 3,366 shields. And we also got some regen rate increases. Well, they're thermal down a little bit, but it's compensated for by our shield boosters, which we'll get to when we talk about the utility mounts. So we have some shield cell banks here. We have two 6A and one 5A. Now, these have the same upgrades that we saw in the Python video, which is Specialized Shield Cell Bank Grade 3. So what this is primarily for is lowering the thermal load. That is, when you fire off your shield cell, it doesn't get quite as hot. In fact, it gets 18% less hot. Now, not all of these shield cell banks are going to come out with the same roll. So this one, for example, is 16.3%, but you know, they come out pretty good. I think this helps a lot. This one came out 16.5%. So the top one was, you know, that was a really good roll. I think the maximum is like 19% or something like that. It's something like that. Anyways, it's pretty close. So shield cell banks, we have 3 of them. They're really good. I recommend using 2 of these cells at a time to recharge your shields because one really doesn't cut it. So when we talk about the utility mounts, we'll talk about how we mitigate that much heat. Anyways, I'm sure you guys know the answer, but we'll get there. So then we have a 6A fuel scoop because traveling with this thing is impossible if you don't have it. You have to stop for fuel all the time. But with the 6A fuel scoop, there's this technique I've been calling skimming. I'm sure if you traveled anywhere, you probably do this already, and it's not anything new. But yeah, so 6A fuel scoop allows you to fuel that 32-ton fuel tank fairly quickly. Then we have the 5D fighter hangar with a Taipan fighter, which has skins and custom weapon colors and all that kind of stuff. Then we have a 5A collector limpet controller because picking up materials with limpets is good. We then have a 4G planetary vehicle hangar with 2 scarabs in it because I don't just use this ship for bounty hunting. I kind of use it for everything because it's my big anaconda and I like it. So if you don't want to put, you know, if you don't want to put vehicle hangar in your bounty hunting anaconda, then don't put something more useful in there. But I also have a 4D frameshift drive interdictor. Now this just has a simple little class 1 modification on it. It makes it slightly longer range, but it also decreases the facing limit somewhat, only like 4.1 degrees or something like that. It's not bad, but I don't really get a lot of use out of this anyway. I mean, this is mostly for, you know, PvP, or if you're looking for that one mission target that you just can't, you know, find or something like that. Anyways, we have the 16-ton cargo rack, the 4E. Now, this is mostly used for putting collector limpets in because, you know, it's good to have a place to store those. But if you happen to want to pick something up, you could do that. And then, I'm not going to do the Halo song this time, guys, but we have the Advanced Discovery Scanner. Pinnacle of every build. Yes. Everybody loves the scanner. Everyone loves a scanner. Okay, there was a song. Okay. And then, let's talk about the utility mounts. Alright, so, shield booster, shield booster, shield booster, shield booster, shield booster, heatsink launcher, shield booster, shield booster. Yeah, you get the idea. Okay, so the heatsink launcher, this is what's going to allow you to use 2 shield cells at one time, two 6A shield cells at one time. So what you do is you deploy one shield cell, wait for it to hit its maximum amount of heat, drop a heatsink, and then use another shield cell. Boom! Problem solved. Now, the downside is there are only 3 heatsinks in here, and there is a way to upgrade this so that it has more ammo. However, it involves unlocking Ramta, and I'm still in the process of doing that. So, that will happen at some point. But even when you do that, you only get 1 extra thing of ammo, so your capacity for the heatsinks goes from 3 to 4. Boom. And it has a much longer reload time when you do that. Now, we have 7 shield cell boosters on here, or 7 shield boosters, not shield cell boosters, shield boosters. Now 5 of them, 5? 3, no, 4. I can say numbers. Yes. 4 of them are heavy duty shield boosters. Now the top one I think is probably the best. It gets us a 55% increase in shield boost, and sometimes we get lucky and we get secondary effects that do, you know, resistance increases and stuff. So we have 4 of those. Then down here, for our last 2 or 3 or so, we have resistance augmented. And these are handy because they give us some kinetic resistance, thermal resistance, and explosive resistance. And that's really good because, well, that's what you're going to get hit with. Yeah. And if you get lucky, you'll also get a little bit of shield boost on your roll. Like I got 1.7% on this one. I think I got higher on other shield cells. I keep saying cells, I mean boosters. On other boosters possibly. Yeah, I got 2.7% on this one, so that was good. And let's see, I think I just have the 2 on there, but if I have more than 1, this will be 1 too. Okay, So it's just 2 resistance augmented, and then what, 5 heavy duty. Yeah, okay, I can count. So let me restate that: 5 heavy duty, 2 resistance augmented, and a heatsink launcher. Yes. Okay. Now, the part you've all been waiting for, the weapons. Yes. Okay, let's start with the class 4 weapon here. So we have a multi-cannon, and that looks really cool. Wow, I just like this color scheme, and you know, the paint job and stuff. It just goes really well together. I quite like that. I wish they made like models of these ships that you could buy and just like paint them and put, yeah. Anyway. 4A multi-cannon. What upgrade do we have on our 4A multi-cannon? Grade 5 overcharged weapon. This comes from Todd the Blaster McQuinn. Oh, also, I didn't mention this. If you guys were wondering, the shield booster upgrades come from D.D. Vaderman, engineer called D.D. Vaderman. I think I also didn't mention where the shield upgrade came from. That was from Lee Chung. So Lee Chung for the actual shield generator, D.D. Vaderman for the shield boosters. Right, okay. Anyways, multi-cannon upgrades come from Todd the Blaster McQuinn. He's an engineer that everyone should also have access to. You get him right in the beginning. Those other two, Lee Chung and D.D. Vaderman, you're going to have to do a little bit of work. But again, you only have to do it once. So, anyways, overcharged weapon, grade 5. You can see the stats over there. Boom. They're all nice. Then, for 2 of our class 3 slots, we have class 3, grade 5 overcharged weapons. This one had an experimental effect on it. I didn't purposely put that in there. It just rolled randomly, so I went with it. It's pretty good, auto loader, so your weapon doesn't have to, you know, reload as much. I mean, it doesn't give you increased damage or anything, but it's all right. It has to reload less, so you get to fire more. So that's a good thing. Then, for our bottom class 3 hardpoint here, we have a 3D turreted beam laser. And that is grade 5 efficient weapon. Now, we have talked a lot about grade 5 efficient weapon. I like it a lot. It's pretty good. Pretty good? No, it's really good. I'm going to go with really good. In fact, I would have to say grade 5 efficient weapon beam lasers are probably my favorite beam lasers. Probably my favorite weapon, in fact. So, the multi-cannons that we just talked about are in fact the only other thing on here than grade 5 overcharged beam lasers. The rest of these beam lasers here are turreted grade 5 overcharged beam lasers. Yes. Now with the grade 5 charge enhanced 8A power distributor, you can just fire these continuously as long as you have three or 4 pips into your weapons thing. Yeah, it's really nice. Now when you start firing the multi-cannons, you're going to run out the capacitor a little bit, but it charges back up pretty quickly, even while firing the rest of the beam lasers, and that's something that we'll check out in part 2 of this, you know, Anaconda series when we actually go test it out and stuff. Yeah, so, multi-cannons and beam lasers, that's what 2.2.03 is all about. It is the patch of the beam laser, yes. And we're looking at 2 of them right now. I like that. Alright, that pretty much concludes part 1 of this Anaconda build. So, part 2, as I said before, is going to be where we go test this out. So make sure you are subscribed if you want to see part 2 where we just annihilate things with this. Because with this ship, we don't so much take damage as we do give damage. Yes. Let us pray. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. Let's not do that. Anyways, alright, that's pretty much going to be the end of this video. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to see part 2. I will see you guys in the next one, and that's usually the thing that I say at the end. Let's see. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.